Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to show you on how to do simple data analysis in Python. So in my previous video I illustrated or I explained on how to import how to install libraries and import the libraries at the same time in this Python. And I also explained on how to import or how to install Jupyter Notebook as one of the library, but in the license this is what they call the IDLE. So, and in my training or in my analysis in Python I normally use Jupyter Notebook. So I also stated that in my previous video how to install Jupyter Notebook and log in to your Jupyter Notebook. So today I'm going to start with the how to import. I'm going to start by importing the data from external storage to this, then do some summary statistics and some graphs at this point. So the data I'm going to use today is this data that has GDP, employment rate, labor force, and so on. So that's the data that I'm going to use today. So please, if you are new, remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for more videos. Thank you and welcome. So the first step is to import this data, and now we can call this as df as a data frame, and we use equal sign is equals to. Now it's actually that the data is a CSV, so we have to indicate a CSV here, a CSV file. Then we open those quotes like that. Then I'll go back to this data. So what I'm going to do from here is to locate the file path or the storage of this data. Okay, this data is stored on what? On desktop. It's under my desktop. So if you see at this desktop, I'll be able to open this folder and I'll be able to see this data training. So let me zoom for you. Yeah, you can be able to see this data training. So what I'll do is click on this data. You can see this different from this other two. So I've highlighted that. Click to highlight, then go to on top of your menu bar, there's where it's written copy path. So you have to click that copy the path of the selected item. So just like that. So after I copied that, I've copied that file path. Just go back to my Jupyter notebook and I paste it here. Control V. So I paste it here. This point, let me remove these double quotes. I'll paste at that point, and that is it. So you see this data is a training.csv, and that is it. So that I just go to run and run that code. So you see it's not defined. So it's not defined because actually I have not loaded these libraries. So I have to load this first, and we go back and we load this. Okay, so it seems there is an error somewhere. You have pandas and b. Sorry, so there's a mistake here. So actually I'm supposed to use pd. So actually I'm using pandas, so I have to use pd dot read underscore csv. That's where the problem was, or the error. Sorry for that. It's good. Now once you see, now I can be able to later than there's no error, so I have fixed this. So you have to use pd read underscore csv. If you are using xrs, so you'll be able to do it from here. Good. Now the next step, I can be able to see for instance, if you want to see some head of maybe tail and so it's actually something we are seeing the data. So you can just say df dot head dot head execute that. So you see, you can be able to view the first five rows of the data. So if you want to view the tail as well, you can be able to do that. So you can be able to view the tail, the last five rows of the data. So it means up to this point we already have now the data in our Jupyter notebook in this what in this training, or in this training. Yeah. So the next step is to do some summary statistics. So let me actually, I'm going to use this as a heading. So press OK, and then now press this as a use this as a heading, and there's a summary statistics 6 and exploration. Just like that. Then you enter a new line, or just a new code line. Sorry. So I start with the summary statistics. So to do that, we are using the name of the data is df, then describe. So we are using describe, just like that, and we run that. Now you'll be able to see the summary statistics of this data. You can be able to see the count. So the count is actually the number of observations. So we have 49 observations under labor, so it means we have missing values here. 49 under employment rate, 49 under GDP. We have the mean for each and every variable. We have the standard deviation. Yeah, the standard deviation. We have the minimum value, maximum value. Actually, we have 25%. This is actually what we call the first quartile. We have second quartile, which is also sometimes 50%, which is also the mean, and the third quartile, which is 75%. So you can see, you can be able to do the summary statistic from this and using this and describe. Now the next thing I want to show you is how to subset the data. How can you subset? Subsetting data. Let us say, for instance, I want to work around with the employment rate, for instance, the employment rate. So I'll be able to do that. To do that, what you do, let us call it even employ the f, just like that, is equals to, now the name of the data, which is this initial data frame, df. Then use those symbols. Then now I'll be able to select the variables that I want, the variable name. Now the variable name here is employment underscore rate, just like that. So it means if you have 50 variables and you want to select 10 variables randomly from the data, you can be able to do that. Space, mini, comma, the second one, third one, and so on. But in this case, I want to focus only on employment rate. So it means at this point, I select an employment rate from these 3 variables, and my new data frame will be known as employee df, just like that, and you execute. So if now I'll be able to do employee underscore df, then dot head, so I'll be able to see one. So you see, this is if you go back to this data, you highlight that and you execute, you can be able to see this was the tail and the head. Yeah, now you can see this is now the head for the employment rate. So you see, now I'm working specifically on one variable name. So this is one way of subsetting this data. And if you have 10 variables and so on, you would be put a comma on this and so on until you reach your target. All of your variables of interest, you subset them from the main data. Now next, let us go and do some graph. Let us do a simple data, you can call it this as data data visualization, data visualization. And in this case I'm using an histogram, so I want to do an histogram of this employment rate. Now first you need to have, for you to achieve this plot organic graph, you must have a library that is responsible for that. Now if you go back to my library, actually this pandas and the numbit, they are responsible for this data frame, importing of the data and so on. You can see like in this data we use pd, which comes from the pandas. Now in this also we need a matplotlib library, python plot, so this is responsible for all graphs, all plots and so on. So what I'm going to do is, since I have already installed the libraries and I have imported them to this Jupyter notebook, now I just go direct and do the histogram. Now first I can even repeat that, but so as not to confuse you, let me do it from here, so there's no harm to repeat this. But matplot library dot python plot as plot. Just like that's the first code. Now the second code, I'm going to use ggplot. So I can select the style here at this point, style use, now I'm going to use ggplot. So if you are familiar also with the R, you can be able to find this under tidyverse. So ggplot is also there. Then now I'm plots, so the kind of plot that you want, you will be able to do this at this point. Is now the name of the data is embroid, so we are taking this. Again, you can just copy this to, can copy that and then you paste it at this point. Control C. That's the name of the data. Then bin weight length, I mean you can use even 5 at this point. And now I'll finish this with plot. So I want to show the plot. So show. But what you need to understand here, for instance, this plot. Okay, remember you only do an histogram based on a single numerical variable. But now I'm taking this data frame because it only contains employment rate, and this is numeric, so that's the reason as to why. So after this, click and execute. Perfect. So if you look at this now, you can see that we have an histogram for employment rate. So this is the histogram, but you can see at this point we don't have maybe the heading, the title for this, we don't have it. But this is how you can do a simple data analysis, like descriptive statistics, some graph, like histogram, like what we have done here exactly. But in our next video, so I'll show you detailed, like it will be like advanced analysis on this, how to change colors, how to include titles, these scales and so on, and how to use different kind of data sets and phoenix arrays, and do even modeling regressions and so on. So that's what our next videos will cover. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you. See you next time.